average fan, they come across as an ownership group who doesn't do everything to put a winner on the field, who doesn't go all in. And, I think that that's wrong in some ways. I mean, the Indians have put $260 million towards payroll in the last 2 seasons, in the last year and a half. And that isn't talked about very much. But I think the things, the line, if the letter will always be attached to Dan Gilbert, the quote, that Dolan said a long time ago, they'll spend money when the time is right, that will always be attached to the Dolans. And trading back-to-back Cy Young Award winners will always be attached to that organization. And I think that's 2 major tipping points in the Indians, long-term story as to why they are where they are.
No, you're right. I've often joked with friends. I said, man, if I was the Indians, and even last year when they went and spent some money, right? Like, I'm like, think about this. The Dolans are hit with the fan thought process no matter what they do. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. I said, man, those guys need to work everybody. They need to get a straw man, third person involved, and give the appearance of stepping back and bringing on a partner and let people believe that the Dolans have brought somebody. Just put a different person at the top of the pyramid just for public relations, even if it's a scam and nothing has changed, but we're going to pretend. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see how the fans react all of a sudden if Joe Schmo, new owner with a checkbook, signed Nick Swisher. And I'm just not, obviously, I'm talking about when they signed him, not now, after everything went down, See if the fans' reaction to things are different if you just take the Dolans out of the equation. But one last question. I did not plan to go onto this, but something when Bruce called in earlier, he had a question. I think, no way. I think you cut off your nose here and you just piss off your fan base if you do this. But what about baseball following football's lead and going with blackouts of home games? Do you think that would increase attendance? Because I think it would increase attendance by a couple of thousand, but it would cost you 1 million or so fans that watch it on TV that say, kiss my ass, I'm going to watch the Browns.
Yeah, I think so too. And, there are people that believe that in this current market in baseball, that the TV deals are so rich that the attendance doesn't really have a huge factor on the bottom line to some organization. True. Now whether that's true or not,
I think it is financially.
I think there's some truth to it. But if you ask anybody, tied to a team, they'll tell you that that's not true. I don't know that it's so easily. I don't think it's a black and white thing, but I definitely think the TV money has a huge impact on teams' bottom lines, and that's where I would go back to saying, if, like you said, you would lose millions in people that watch the games on TV to get yourself a couple thousand in the stands, and I don't know that that's a deal you'd want to make, and I think, the money that would be lost from those TV deals. I think you would feel a much bigger hurt than what they have now. And there are days that I wonder how true that is. The attendance discussion has really kind of gone away this year, and there are days that I wonder, does it really matter if how much does the needle move? If there's, instead of averaging 18,000, if it was 25,000, would there be a major change to payroll? I'm not sure that there would or wouldn't be. I don't know.
No, and I hear you. But with the TV money growing and the revenue sharing, and you hear, and the baseball does a good job of hiding their numbers and not being open with everything to where you estimate and you guess things. But, you hear people say, hey, before they sell ticket number 1, before they open the gates, all of these teams are in the red with the baseball, in the black with the baseball money and then the TV money and all of that stuff. And you look at football and the billions and billions that they're bringing in. Football's at a point now where they don't have to sell a single single ticket to a game ever. I mean, the crowd is there for the ambiance and the atmosphere and to create the environment of a fun game, because they've been paid for this television product. And baseball, as their rights fees grow, they're reaching that point too, to where I think you have to shift your strategic focus as well, because that's the one thing that I've said. If the Indians, and I don't know this because baseball they don't put all these numbers out there. Every time Forbes says that the Indians made a truckload of money, the Dolans say, no, we didn't make anything, man. They don't know what they're talking about. So I don't know about all of that. But if that's the case, and if you are already good to go without selling a single ticket, then you need to readjust your ticket selling plans and change your focus. It's just like when a company, like a live event company that for their whole life, like WWF or something, that built around doing live events. Well, now they make franchise money on TV for their show. So guess what? Yeah, they still do live events because it's what they do, but they could care less. They make 5% of their income there now because all of their money is now generated off TV. So that has now become the master that they serve. And I think baseball is getting there, just like football's already gotten there. The television product is the master that you serve in 2014.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm probably the perfect example because I love the NFL, and I love the NFL. I love fantasy football. I love the appointment TV behind it. I'm a sucker for every pool that you can possibly get into and play. I can't sign up for enough of them.
You playing fantasy football with us? You're playing in the fix? You playing fantasy football with us this year?
Oh, I will.
Yeah, that's right. You bet you will.
I love it. Like I said, I love it. And in the same breath, I don't think I've been to a football game in probably 3-4 years, an NFL game. And the reason is because for as much as I love it, and just like you said, I think they've already jumped the shark in the TV mode because I have that, I have the direct TV package and I can watch every game and I want to watch every game. I don't want to go to Brown Stadium and watch one game. I want to watch all of them at the same time. And I want to watch I want to watch the Browns and I want to watch every other team and my fantasy team and my players and all the pools that I'm in. And to me, it's more fun to be at home. I swear to you, and I know there are other people that do it too, I often go down with my friends downtown, tailgate Sunday morning. They walk to the stadium, and I go home and watch the game.
But I hear you, man. I have a 3D TV. I throw them glasses on. It's like I'm down on the field anyway, man. So, and you're at the house, and in the wintertime, you don't have the weather to deal with. You don't have to wait an hour for parking. All those things that we talked about with the Indians. I'm with you. Sports in general. I mean, that is something, with the television. But once the economics of your sport changes, I think you have to change with the times too. And what I mean by that is if ticket selling is no longer your number one, even if it's still very important, you loosen up certain policies. Perhaps the Indians are dead set against giving away tickets, and I understand their belief in that, but the only reason they're making more money now selling less tickets in the last few years because they're just increasing the pricing. You're just squeezing more out of your existing fan base without growing anything. And I know people say, well, who cares? You give away tickets, you didn't make any money. I still say, number one, those people come in the ballpark and spend $11 on 2 hot dogs or whatever, some of that, or even if it's dollar dog night, if they got free tickets, they come in and buy 20 of them. I don't know. Point is there's fans in the seats, and if that is no longer the income that's driving your motor, if that's not what runs things, then you should do that. You should loosen up, because I'm telling you, man, I don't care. Like we said, if the majority of your income is coming from TV revenue, then who the hell cares if you've got 30K in the crowd and 15,000 of them were freebies? That's fine. There's still 30,000 people there.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the Indians. They
won't do it. They get mad when I bring up free tickets. They go, "Hell no, we ain't giving away free tickets."
And their line is always that basically, then they're devaluing their season ticket fan base, because those people have paid ahead of time, and
so you come up with a special. Come up with a special incentive for season ticket holders. I don't care what it is. You make that valuable. You give them, they like to give away stuff for every game anyway, so you make sure that season ticket holders have a special giveaway, or that there's a special meet and greet. You can find ways to make that premium worth it for being a season ticket holder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. And my counter to that would be is, the Indians don't have much of a season ticket fan base at this point.
True.
I mean, sad but true, but who are you really offending? Because there aren't very many of them left. And, I think if anything, maybe if there were more, free tickets or giveaways available, maybe you get some people down there and you make it a place to be. I think that's basically what they're trying to do with their renovations, is make it a place to be.
And that's what I was telling Bruce when we were talking about it, cutting out 7,000 seats from the stadium. He's like, well, won't they come back when the crowds come back? And I said, maybe they do, but now they're still buying $10 tickets, only instead of them being in the bleachers, they're standing room only tickets. And in honesty, that creates a more raucous atmosphere anyway. And if those people aren't there, all the seats are still filled. If you've gotten to that point where I like what they're doing there. I think it reflects the reality of expecting 42,000 on a daily basis is just not happening anymore.
Yeah, and I don't blame them for their renovations. And I was there when they announced it, and it sounds good. It looks good. I think it's all great. The only thing after I left that I wish I would have asked that day is, and maybe I'm the minority in this being affected, and because a lot of those seats in the lower right field where they're going to put the bullpens now, that's my favorite place to sit. And so maybe I'm a little more sensitive to what I'm about to say because it will affect me. But in my mind, those are good seats that are very price affordable, and that's a $20 to $30 seat depending on the opponent and when you go. And I think that is a fair price for a baseball game to sit out there. I think that, in my mind, that is the deal in the ballpark. If you don't want to sit on a metal bleacher, if you don't want to sit in the upper deck, and you don't want to pay a ton of money, I think those are good seats to sit in. And my only worry since I've left is that option for the most part just going to go away? And if it is, that's too bad, because I know that's a lower reserve section, and there'll still be lower reserve down the lines, in foul territory. But I'm not sure, at least in my mind, if that really is the same ticket. It might be to the Indians, but I'm not sure that it is to me or to some other people, because personally I would rather sit in 107 or 108 than sitting down in the corners in 174 or 117 where Ohio is. And if they eliminate some of those tickets, are they almost eliminating some of those, what I would say, are value tickets for fans?
No, you're right, because I love sitting there too. No, you're absolutely right about that. And I think that hey, in execution, I think some of that may get fleshed out a little differently when they get to actually rearranging the things in the off season, maybe. And as people like you bring that up, maybe they go, hey, you know what? Maybe we do less of these seats, we move a few of these, we compromise. I do believe that that's maybe not set in stone. I mean, the idea is, but what I mean is they may tweak, how they renovate there as it goes along, and as people like you point out things like what you just said, because I agree that's a great little section to sit in.
Sure, and it might be as simple as them saying, there's still X thousand seats out there in right field, and we only sell, X minus a whole bunch, on a regular basis. So if you want to sit out there, there's still room.
Their seats. Yeah.
Right.
guys like you will
So-
still have, if they go, we got 10,000 of them and we only sell 3, so we're going to leave those 3, so there'll still be the same number of seats there for the ones that actually buy them. We're just getting rid of the ones that nobody sits in, basically.
Right.
So-
And it may be that easy. It's just the one thing that
Yeah.
I've thought of, since hearing their renovation plan. But yeah, I mean, I think their renovation plan is, I mean, they make no bones about it. I mean, they're trying to utilize the ballpark better to get people to come and to make it a place to be. And I mean, even their own words that day. I mean, Mark Shapiro said,